Like, I don't understand how people can not forgive a man who had a non-violent protest as he was trying to shed light on some things that were happening in the black community. His will is amazing. That's why I think he still has a chance at quarterback. He's strong-willed. Like, his passion is there.
You saw it yesterday on Twitter. Michigan posted up a picture making Colin Kaepernick an honorary captain, and my God, Twitter went Twitter on us, and there were debates going on. There were people yelling at each other, dumb stuff being said. And, you know, I am not going to lie to you. I am not a fan of people kneeling for the national anthem. But I'm also a fan of freedom in this country. Yeah. So it puts me in an awkward position because I will never tell anybody what to do as long as they're not hurting anybody else.
Right.
That's where I draw the line. As soon as you start hurting somebody else, then I'll step in.
Yeah.
But if you want to use whatever you need to protest, if you want to use whatever platform you have, that's fine. And people just are out of control with this because it's just, if they see Kaepernick on site, it turns into a wild political debate when it's really just, they have a history together. He's the quarterback that helped Jim Harbaugh get to the Super Bowl.
Right.
I'm assuming a lot of the teammates and a lot of the team members of Michigan support Kaepernick, and you're doing for your team. It's not about who's on Twitter. It's about your team. So I didn't mind that yesterday, even though I disagree with Kaepernick.
Yeah, you know, the one thing about it is I think a lot of people are stuck in the 2016. They're stuck in the 2017 when that thing happened. Like, listen, this is a whole new Kaepernick situation. Like, I don't understand how people can not forgive a man who had a non-violent protest as he was trying to shed light on some things that were happening in the black community. A lot of black individuals, non-armed black individuals being shot, being murdered. And he was just trying to shed light on that. With that being said, it was 6 years ago.
Right.
It's 6 years ago. The people that stormed on Twitter, the people stormed, how could you have this guy represent your school? How could you have him represent the maize and blue? What are you talking about? 6 years ago. You guys support guys that have done way worse. And giving them, like Maz always talks about, they've done way worse. And you give them chance after chance after chance because they can help they can help your squad. They can help your team. I think I need people. Leave this in the past. And then all the people making the noise, you go to their Instagram pages, you go to their social media pages, all look the same, all have trucks, all have pickup trucks, you know, all have Fu Manchus.
I know. I fall into that category, though, so it's tough for me. Like, whenever they show the picture of all the white dudes that are bitching on Twitter, like, it's like, wait, that's my people. Like, I'm one of those.
I just don't understand why people are mad from 6 years ago.
Right.
It's a nonviolent protest. He was trying to shed light on things that were happening in his community. Key word, 6 years ago, this is a new situation. Jim Harbaugh has taken a shine because I was there when he got drafted, 2011. I was on the 49ers squad. They did go to the Super Bowl in 2013. Cap was a large reason for that. They have a relationship. You give them an opportunity. You give them a chance. It was 6 years ago. You see how it goes. Everybody changes. Things change. Move forward. Why are people so stuck in the past about something that, you know, you could be wrong about anyway?
So, as a Michigan man, Braylon, which you are, when you saw that picture yesterday and you saw the response, what did that make you feel? Are you protecting Kaepernick now that you know that he's you've always protected him, right? But now that he's like taken more of an allegiance and now he's an honorary captain, are you proud of that as a Michigan man?
I am proud. I'm proud that the change that we can happen. I'm proud that Jim Harbaugh may have had differences. And Ryan Armani said it best on his Twitter yesterday. People's political stances shouldn't come between friendships. They shouldn't come between you being buddies. They are friends. They have a relationship. He is a mentor. So with that being said, just move forward. Why can't people just move forward? Why can't people say, hey, you know what? That was then, this is now, let's see how it goes. Even if you're still focused on what he did, wait till the season happens. Ask him, is he going to kneel again? Ask him, is he going to piss you off again? Because that might not be what he's after this time around. I think Cap did his penance. He stood his ground. His will is amazing. That's why I think he still has a chance at quarterback. His will is determined. His heart is determined. Like, what he did it for, what his reasoning for was a good cause. I think he's a good guy, and he stayed the course.
Things have changed in the last 6 years. I'm not saying he's
2
the reason.
years.
Yeah, in the last couple of years. But since he's kneeled, he's lost his career. Yeah, he sued the NFL. Yeah, he made some money back. But he lost his career. And now he's out trying to redeem himself. We saw last week he put out workout videos. You broke it down, Bray. He's looking good out there. He's kept in shape. Obviously, he's not in quarterback football shape yet. But you know what? This weekend, he's going to get an opportunity to not only be an honorary captain in Ann Arbor, but there can be scouts at the game, and he will throw at halftime of the game. So you're not only going to see a spring game, you're going to see Colin Kaepernick work out.
Can't wait to get into some of that. Talk about him working out at halftime. I think that's an amazing thing that Jim Harbaugh is putting forth for Colin Kaepernick. He'll get some. Big Ten Network will be there. I'm sure ESPN, some other places will be there.
Right.
So people get a chance to see that. He'll have some film to show some teams. But even just going back to the political side of things, listen, the NFL, who had one of the biggest problems with it, who colluded to keep him out of the NFL, who you saw that, well, we didn't necessarily see the receipts, but they know they had the receipts. That's why they had to settle out of court.
They paid the bill.
The
right.
NFL forgave Cap, which they had nothing to forgive him for, but they moved on from Cap. They now support Black Lives Matter. They now support, remember what happened last year with Leonard Floyd, or 2 years ago with Leonard Floyd. Remember how big the NFL turned in? They got behind Leonard Floyd. They got behind that movement. They talked about that. They raised money for that. They shed light on that. Everything that Colin Kaepernick was trying to spearhead, everything that he was trying to get people to start to pay attention to, the NFL got there. So if the NFL can get there, why can't these people get there and move on? I don't understand it.
So let's move it beyond the politics, right?
Yeah.
The kneeling and the NFL and the settlement and all that. Do you think someone could sit out of the NFL that long at the quarterback position, come into the league and be effective?
Hell of a transition. The honest answer is no. Like
Okay.
if I was a GM of a team, the honest answer is I don't believe an individual can sit out at that position. We talk about the most important position in sports. You talk about it being the quarterback. You can't sit out 5 years in that position and then come back. Granted, he didn't play very long in the beginning. He didn't have any major injuries in the beginning.
Right.
So he hasn't been taking hits. He hasn't been hit. His physical level is still there. He's still an athletic specimen. So I get all that, but it's tough. Like Michael Vick talked about it. Michael Vick was out for 2 years when he had to sit down and he had to go to jail for the dogfighting deal. He said 2 years, and he said it was a struggle trying to get back into that rhythm, trying to get back into learning film and studying film and getting with new teams. He said it's tough. So it's going to be damn hard. I necessarily wouldn't take a chance before I invited him, but that's the key. You want to get him an invitation. The other side of it is he's strong-willed. Like his passion is there. Like some of the measurables that aren't on this piece of paper, or what I'm looking at the combine, some of the measures that aren't on there, like that will, that heart, like just being a good guy, all around good guy, man, wanting to be the guy that's the leader, that's the focal point, that can take the bunt, that can keep going.
Right.
It's like those things that don't show up in the stat sheet, those are reasons why you got to say it might work.
Is he better than David Blau and Tim Boyle?
Yes.
He could play on my team.
And that's been one of the questions, though, about Kaepernick, too. Is he willing to take a backup role?
Sure he
Because
would.
he's been offered a couple backup roles. I know with Seattle a couple years ago, they were talking to him about that. You were going to back up Russell Wilson, but he wanted to be the starter. He still thought he had the chops to be the
I don't think that
starter.
was the real.
You don't think that was real?
No.
I don't think so at all.
Okay.
I don't think so at
I
all.
don't think he was allowed to come back till now.
Yeah, I think that was part of the deal. Because I also don't know when that would have been in a snapshot of when the settlement happened, when all that happened. I think that would be tough. And once again, I don't know.
Right.
But with that being said, I definitely know. He just wants to be in the NFL. I think part of it, the big deal, too, was after he didn't get back in. Then he starts to talk about there was collusion, and they're now trying to prove the collusion. And then they actually proved the collusion, which is why they settled out of court for an amount we do not know, and we never will. Even back then, you look at it, like Cap wasn't necessarily talking about football. It was everybody else talking about, well, that's not fair. We got to get Cap back. Why won't they hire Cap? Why won't they put him on the team? Why won't they give him a shot? We didn't hear a lot from Cap and wanting to play until the interview. I mean, not the interview. That workout that they set up down in Atlanta.
And then he didn't show up for it.
Because they put a lot of stipulations on it.
Yeah.
And once again, we don't know the insides of that, too. A lot of stipulations.
And there's just so many layers to this story.
So many.
But the bottom line is Kaepernick's going to get a look this Saturday from some professional coaches.
Yeah.
And,
Here in Michigan.
And you're thinking the great name that you brought up earlier, Jim
Harbaugh.
John Harbaugh is going to show up. They got a quarterback who Kaepernick could fit into that offense, right? You got a Lamar Jackson who has been injured previously last year.
Yeah.
That may be a good landing spot for him.
Well, Ravens got that guy. That guy, and I forget his name.
But they lost
He stepped right in. He was terrific.
He was, and their other guy stepped in and was good as well. Huntley. They lost Huntley,
That's
though.
it. That's what I meant. Huntley.
So they lost Huntley last year in the offseason. So, you just look at it as he just needs a chance. I think people need to forget the past. He's right here. This is now the NFL has seemingly forgot about it or seemingly moved from it. They're now supporting Black Lives Matter. They were very instrumental in the Leonard Floyd and raising money and things of that nature. So if they can move past, let's move past. Let's make it about football, not about politics.
Yeah, and that's what I'm about, between the lines, and that's what we were kind of discussing before the show. Like, Kaepernick, when when all this started, he was like the second or third string quarterback at that point. And I'm more worried about his skills getting back in the league because, this is a man's league. You go out there with diminished skills, you're going to get hurt.
He's older, too. He's
100%.
34 or 35, man. It's not – that ain't the old cat.
Right.
Yeah, but the good thing, the interesting thing about that, I know we got to get to a break. The interesting thing about that is where the NFL has gone. These quarterbacks are playing a little bit longer. You see Tom Brady. I know Tom Brady's a unicorn, so you can't really use his name. But you see Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
You see Phillip Rivers play kind of long. Like, they're starting to play longer. Russell's starting to get up there a little bit. The Russell's 33, 34. So they're starting to get up there. So I think the age at 34, not having that much wear and tear and physicality put on his body, I think that's not a problem. It's about the mindset. Like, how is, like, watching film, breaking down film. How much of quarterback mental has he been doing over the past 5-6 years? Has he been sitting down and breaking down film? Like, how much of that has he been doing?
Well, we'll find out Saturday at halftime. He's trying out. We don't know what NFL teams are going to be there, but rumor is Colin Kaepernick's going to have a tryout for some NFL teams at the Michigan spring game this
Is that free,
Saturday.
by the way? Is that a free game to go to?
Yeah, spring game's free. Yeah.